everyone, my name's Christy. Welcome to my corner. Thank you for joining me today for Flosstube number 70. And I really like, anyway, those of you who've been with me for any amount of time know that I really like round numbers and I really like ancient and medieval numerology. And I don't have any interesting things to say about the number 70, but 7 was really important. 7 in medieval Europe represented the universe. Medieval people really liked multiples of 3 and 4. 3 represented the divine and heaven with the Trinity, the Holy Trinity, God the Father, the Godhead, Jesus the Son, and then the Holy Spirit. So that's the Trinity. And the earth is represented by the number 4 because of the four elements, 4 humors in the body. So like the fluids that keep you in balance, the 4 seasons, all these different things are multiples of 4. So 4 represents the world and 3 represents the divine. And so 4 plus 3 is 7. And so 7 kind of represented the universe. It was, it was a lucky number. There's your information about the number 7, since I don't have anything. I don't have anything about 70. Anyway, this is Flosstube number 70. And I have 4 finished objects. I have 2 weaving and 2 stitching finished objects. I'm so excited. One of them is a start and finish. No, well, all the weavings are starts and finishes. Since last time I came for a Flosstube update. One of the stitching is a start and finish from the last time I Flosstubed. So that's exciting. I do have some WIPS and I have a bunch of plans and I have, I don't know, just fun things to talk about. And I have musings at the end. So Kaylee Cross Stitch has a new section called Musings. And I want to talk about what it means to be nice. I've had some strange conversations with people lately about like being nice. So I want to talk about that at the end, but I'll leave that at the end so you don't have to like listen. You can like get out of it if you want to. Anyway, but before we get to any of that, I want to welcome my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me on my crafty and artistic adventures. And welcome back to anyone who's been hanging out with me for however long you've been with me. It's been great to get to know you in the comments here on YouTube and also on Instagram. And if you're not following me on Instagram, you can find me in 2 different places. My main account is Dr_Christy. I'll put both of them right here. And that's where I post my daily stitching. I do outfits of the day, and I appreciate all of your encouragement and love on those pictures. I think it's really important that plus size women, that fat women are seen as, I don't know, not being bad. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that. It's just, we need plus sized fashion positivity, and I appreciate that you all appreciate my plus size fashion positivity. I put that on my Instagram every Tuesday and Thursday. I post my stitching. I don't know if I said the stitching, weaving, pictures of my dog sometimes, although like only once a month lately, which is ridiculous because he's adorable. Adorable. And any other things I do during the week. That's where I post that. I also have a second account that is the Spoolery, and that is my on hiatus at the moment kind of obsession with vintage spools. And I'll start posting more about that at the end of the month, because I'm going to start getting ready for an art show that happens in May in my town. And I want to vend at that art show with my spoolie goodness. So that is the Spoolery, and feel free to follow me in either or both places. This is a channel about embroidery and cross-stitch and other textile crafts, and lately weaving, a lot of weaving, and history and the history of all of those things. So if any of that is interesting to you and you'd like to stick around, I'd love to have you subscribe and do that. Hang out with me. So let's talk about stitching. Shall we? Shall we talk about stitching? Actually, first I'll talk about weaving, because elephant in the room, I have this weaving and then I have another weaving. So the first weaving that I did, I actually posted a video of me kind of weaving it, is this little neutral, tiny little woven tapestry that I did on my homemade book and pencil loom. And I posted a tutorial of how to make your own loom out of a book and 2 pencils, and I'll put that up here. And honestly, I just like exploring making things with other things. So I have a loom, and looms aren't all that expensive, although my loom is cheap and a little crappy. I do hope to get a better loom later on, since this seems to be a thing I'm interested in at the moment. But if you don't have a loom and you just want to try out weaving and see if you even like it, I don't know. I like part of the fun of crafting for me and making art for me is also figuring out alternative ways to make the supplies and the tools to do that craft or art. So anyway, I made this on a book and 2 pencils. And I think it's cute. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it's cute and I like it. The second weaving is this weaving. I think, oh, you can see the whole thing, which is good. Oh, but you can't see the top. So I'm going to bring the whole thing down. So it's hanging on a stick with some moss. And you'll notice it has a stick and moss, well, 3 sticks and moss in it. This one still has a leaf that's drying. And the rest of it is just things that I had around to weave with. And that is in commemoration of a giant tree that we had taken down this past week. So a lot of my week was very distracting because for 3 days we had an arborist with heavy machinery in our yard taking down an enormous tree. And so I will have been putting up pictures of this. And then here's the final crash. I'm so glad it's down. Oh my goodness, folks. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad it's down. It was dangerous. It was really dangerous. Something happened to it. So half of the tree was dead and it was just dropping big limbs, like big limbs, 15-foot limbs, 15-foot long limbs, big honking limbs like that. And they were just dropping in our yard. And luckily, the dead half was over our yard because this tree was really close to our neighbor's house. Luckily, the side of the tree on over the neighbor's house was alive, so that wasn't dropping anything. But I mean, it would have crashed through the roof. So we had it taken down. It's going to cost a lot of money, I'm sure, but there's nothing I could do. So I want to thank you all for buying my cross stitch patterns. You shopping at my small business literally has helped me not have a dangerous outcome in my yard. And I'm going to be giving that money to another local guy who has an employee who is also local. And so, you know, the money that you spend on those patterns is significantly helping my family and contributing to my community. So anyway, I really appreciate that, and I appreciate that. Anyway, back to the story. So the tree is down. There's so much light, and the tree is actually kind of like right there outside of this window. I'm going to have so much light in my studio. It's going to be amazing. I'm thrilled. I'm going to have tons of light in my office, at my home office, and my bathroom. I'm going to have houseplants. We've never had houseplants in my house before. So excited. This goes into plans, but I'm going to try and macrame some houseplant hangers because I have macrame cord from when I was thinking I wanted to do macrame. I don't love macrame, but I have it. I want houseplant hangers, and I think that's kind of the easiest macrame you can do. And I don't have to buy anything for it because I'm in a no-buy month. So anyway, it's done. And this is my commemoration of that tree. I also have other pieces, other sticks and stuff that I picked up. And we got a huge round chunk. I'll put a picture of that here. Basically, he sliced off a 3.5 to 4 inch chunk of the tree, which is like 31 inches, almost 3 feet wide by, what is that? I don't know, like 2.5 feet. I mean, it's like huge. And I'm going to let that dry in here. And then if I can, slice it in half again, find someone to slice it in half and make tables out of it in like 4 years when it dries. Because according to the internet, it takes 1 year per inch of thickness. That's what the internet tells me. Anywho, that's my weaving and I love it. It is silk and wool and acrylic and some velvet here and some wool roving here. Anyway, I'm really pleased with this. I don't know where it's going to go. I think it's probably going to go in my office, my home office, and that will make me very happy. So those are my 2 weavings that I finished. And man, I'm chatty today. It's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since I've seen you and I'm really chatty. If you don't want to watch this part, you can fast forward. I don't know. You can wait until I show you stuff. So let's talk about my stitching whip. So my first stitching whip that I finished on Monday was my fangs out piece, my chin up fangs out piece. And this is in collaboration with Haley Gilmore, who is a local graphic artist who did some amazing protest signs for the Women's March. And so I released this pattern on my Etsy shop as a 5-year commemoration of the Women's March on Washington, as kind of a way to remind us all that we don't have to be nice, which goes into my later conversation about being nice. That we still need to keep fighting. We need to not stay quiet, and we can really make a difference. So if you're interested in stitching this, you can find it in my Etsy shop down below. And yeah, I'm really happy. This I want to turn it into a bag, like a computer bag or a tablet bag, like a pouch, like a zippered pouch. So I'll have to see. I have a bit extra that I don't know. I need to figure out a pattern for what I want to do with this so that I don't cut off more if I want to keep it on there. So this is my first stitching finished object. And like I said, you can find it in my Etsy shop. It is stitched on, I believe, a 16 count Aida. I don't know what color it is. I'm pretty sure this is from a bundle of fabric that I got from my friend Jennifer. I think that's where this is from. And this is stitched in the called for DMC at 6 colors. And here's the original, sorry, I should show that. Here's the original print. And so what I tried to do was I tried to keep the printed nature of it. So that's why there are kind of stripes on it and different colors. It's 6 DMC colors, but you can probably do it in 2 DMC color, 2 variegated colors if you find the right variegation. So if you variegate from like black to gray or black to brown, that would cover the cat, and then orange to like peach would cover the words. And I don't think that that's too crazy of a thing to like look for, you know? Anyway, I'm really pleased with it, and I'm so glad I got it done. It was a really fun stitch, but I ended up not having as much time as I usually do to stitch it, so it took longer than anticipated. But it's done now, and I love it, and I'm so pleased with it. My second finished object is an embroidery piece, not cross stitch. I've been saying for the past couple months that I want to do more embroidery that is not cross stitch, and I also needed to do small things. I don't remember who I was talking to on Instagram, but I was saying how I'm definitely a product stitcher. Though I enjoy the process of stitching. It's relaxing to me and I really like it. But I need to like have that dopamine, that like, yeah, you finished a project dopamine rush fairly regularly. If I'm just stitching on a bunch of large projects, I can't do it. And I think that's why I need to have my WIPS number pretty low. I mean, my WIPS number's got to be below 10. And so I actually didn't want to start anything else until I finished this, because this needed to be finished. And if I had something else, it would just keep stopping that from being finished. Anywho, so I wanted a quick finish, or a series of quick finishes. And one of the things that I had been wanting to stitch, well, I love cozy mysteries. Love cozy mysteries. I'm essentially like my my media watching is essentially that of like an 85-year-old woman, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I am 42, right? So it's like, I don't know that I necessarily watch the things that most people my age watch. And I've been like this for 15 years, right? Like this isn't a new thing. I've had the viewing habits of an 85-year-old woman fairly regularly for the past 15 years. And one of the things I love are cozy mysteries. So Agatha Christie in particular is like one of my favorites. She's problematic sometimes because she was writing in the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. And there are some problematic things in her books. But overall, they're not problematic. And I really enjoy them, and I enjoy the characters. But I especially like watching them on TV. And I love Poirot, and I love Miss Marple, Miss Fisher, who's not obviously Agatha Christie, but Miss Fisher's Mysteries, which take place in Australia. And then, of course, there's Columbo and Murder, She Wrote, and I love them so much. In fact, when I got my PhD, my gift to myself was the entire series of Columbo. And when I got tenure, my gift to myself was the entire series of Murder, She Wrote. And then also, I love I love Jeremy Brett's rendition of Sherlock Holmes from like the 80s. I listen to them over and over again, an audiobook. I read them over and over again on print. I watch them over and over again. They're like my comfort. They're my comfort TV and reading and whatnot. So I thought that's a very long intro to saying I stitched Poirot. So I'm going to have a whole series of different sleuths. I have 6 sleuths that I just mentioned. So I'm going to do a similar kind of sketched style of all of my sleuths. I started with Poirot just because he felt the easiest to kind of adapt into this style. Next is Miss Fisher. I already have her traced out. Let me show you. And I used my silhouette to sketch them out, but it did a double line, which makes me unhappy. But there's Miss Fisher. I love it. And so she's going to be next. And they will all fit. The plan is that they all fit in an 8-inch hoop that I'm going to paint them black. So they're all going to be on this white. This is a cotton linen blend yardage that I got from fabricstore.com. Essex, I think it's Essex linen, which is a 50-50 cotton linen blend. And it's just done, oh, it's done in fancy flosses, which need a ring actually. It's done in fancy flosses and silk. So in this case, the reds are silk and the rest of it is fancy floss. Let me show you the flosses that I'm using. So for Poirot, I only used Coloring Cotton Tusk, which is a white to a very light beige variegation. I used Dyeing for Cross Stitch Smoke. Oops, I have some things there. Smoke, which is a pretty solid gray. Solid gray. I used Coloring Cotton Rustic Black, which is a black to very dark gray variegation. And then I used 2 silks from Bestitch Me. I used Sangria and Red Barn. And the Sangria is interesting because it was very tightly woven clearly when it was dyed. And so you get, it's hard to see here. I'm going to pull out a slice. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. That has like swirl, it has like a spiral of white. That's not dyed. It's much more obvious in person. And it's fairly obvious on the piece. But I don't hate it because what it does is it gives the tie some more texture. So the tie is a lattice stitch and the main part of the lattice is in the burgundy color, which I have already forgotten the name of. And the little tack down stitches are in the red. And then the rose is in the red silk. And then I did add a little DMC green. I don't remember what green that is. It's like just the Christmas green that is from my temperature library, just because it needed green and that was sitting next to me and I wasn't gonna like crack into a fancy floss for like 4 stitches. So that's my Poirot and he's done. And I love him. I don't know if you can see the variegation in his, oh yeah, you can see it in his mustache. The variegation in the black from his mustache. So, and then I use the tusk right here on his collar and on the button right there. So the only added color to Miss Fisher will be Golden Ale because her gun is gold. Her gun is gold and white, gold and like mother of pearl. And so I thought tusk would be really good for that. That's gonna be her gun. She'll have red lips because it's Miss Fisher, obviously. So those are my finished objects, and I have been talking for a very long time. This is going to be a very long video. You might want to watch me in double speed if you can. If you can understand me in double speed. The problem is that I actually talk pretty fast. So it's hard to watch me in double speed if you don't know what I'm saying. Those are my finished objects. I have 2 long-term WIPs that I want to show you. The first one is my Heaven and Earth design, which is the Lady and the Unicorn. This is a picture of what it's going to look like. And I'll do the whole like Flosstuber Heaven and Earth design thing. Here's what it's going to look like. Here's what it looked like last time you saw it. And here's what it looks like now. Get all the way across. that's the back. Why don't I show you the front of it? So that's the front of it. A lot of what I did was, well, I went out and got a new color. I'm in a no-buy month, but I decided to get another color for my HAED. This is an ongoing project, and were I a normal HAED stitcher, I would have already kitted it up. And so I got, what did I get? I got 817, which is this bright red, here. Because if you look at this picture, there is a puppy. I want to stitch down to that puppy so that when next month rolls around, I can buy the flosses for that puppy and stitch the puppy. So to get to that puppy, I need, and without totally messing up my counting, I needed 817. And the puppy is right here. The puppy head is right here. So I'm going to kind of fill in this area around the puppy for the rest of the month when I work on this. And then I will work on the puppy next month. And that will be really exciting to actually have a thing that you can see what it is. Because the way I'm stitching this is I'm not color completing, but I'm definitely not like going square by square and filling in everything in the square. So I'm doing this. This is part of a hashtag, which is Party Like It's $13.99 Sal. I'll put it right here. And I'm doing that with Jessica, the Rainy Day Stitcher. And she is stitching this one, which is Vision, Sight. So it's the Five Senses and Desire. And I'm doing Desire because I love the blue tent. She's doing Vision because she loves the mirror. She's completing the squares. So as she goes down, Jessica, I want to swipe your picture from Instagram. If there's one on Instagram, I want to swipe it and show you the difference. So all of this is like flowers. There's all these different flowers in here. So I'm just doing the main colors and I'm kind of ignoring the confetti until the end. Is that a terrible idea? It might be a terrible idea, but that's kind of how I'm doing it. It's my first HAED and I want to make sure that I am counting correctly. And there are some mistakes in here, but they're kind of mistakes in the background. And I'm not like, if one little burgundy stitch is where a light brown stitch would be, I'm not worrying about it at all. Oh, and I hit 2%. I'm so excited. So I'm at 2% done of this pattern. And my goal for the year is 20% because I would like to finish this in, I would like to finish this in 5 years. That's the plan. And that is on 20 count ivory Aida, just, I think this is Weigart base, like not especially dyed. I'm gridding it myself with a friction pen and it's 2/1. I like a thick coverage, I'm finding, and I really like stitching it. I really like the coverage of it as well. So that's what that is. My final stitching whip for the past 2 weeks is my temperature drink shelf. And as you can see, I'm behind. I decided, well, I think I bailed on my mom. I bailed on my mom and I did stitch some what's it called? Some glasses, but I didn't fill them in. So I'm going to see her tomorrow and I will stitch some more glasses tonight. I have a friend Zoom, not a Stitchy Zoom, but a friend Zoom with some grad school friends this evening. We have a monthly Zoom and I'll stitch more glasses. And then tomorrow I'll stitch in the liquids. And once you have the glasses in, it's so quick to stitch those liquids, like for real. And so I should be caught up with this by the end of the day on Sunday, tomorrow. So that's my drink shelf. This is on a 14 count navy, a 14 count navy Aida that I just got in a tube from probably Joann Fabrics. And it's just a big piece. I think I'm going to, the words are going to be grab yo drank, like I have them charted originally. This pattern is also available in my Etsy shop, and there are lots of different things that you can stitch in the sign. The sign is interchangeable, but the inspiration for this piece is my mom and Chevis of Chevy Rel's Stuff podcast. She has a knitting podcast, but she dabbles in cross stitch. And her tagline is grab yo drank. And I'm like, and I asked, with permission, I asked if I could throw it on here. And she said that was fine. So that's why that's there. It's kind of an homage to a friend and fellow stitcher. But if, you know, if you don't follow Chevis, you might not want that on there. And I have other options. So there you go. That's that. And this is being stitched in the called for. I also have, just as a little plug, if you are looking for a temperature pattern, if you've been seeing people stitching temperature patterns, I have 2 other temperature patterns available in cross stitch. I have my temperature library, which is hugely popular. Thank you all so much for buying that one. And just a reminder, I do donate $1 per sold chart, per sold temperature library chart to a local public library. Now, I was going to donate to my own local public library, but I have subsequently found out that my library recently got some really big grants that they actually don't know how to spend. We're like the best funded public library in Mississippi. So I'm looking to donate to more underfunded public libraries. In particular, my friend works at a library in the Mississippi Delta, and the Mississippi Delta it may be the poorest region in the country. It is incredibly poverty stricken, and the libraries are incredibly underfunded. And so, you know, it's not a ton of money. I'm not donating like thousands and thousands of dollars from this. I'm not selling that many patterns, but I am donating several $100s, and I'm hoping that'll make a difference, you know, for kids to have books and activities. It's going to the Friends of the Library, which is like the fundraising nonprofit arm of public libraries in Mississippi. And basically that mostly pays for programming for children. And, you know, I love me some educational opportunities for children. So anyway, that, just keep that in mind, that I am donating to a good cause for each thing that each temperature library pattern that you buy. The third one that I have is this one, which is my Space Invaders temperature chart. And that was kind of an unexpected addition to my repertoire. I got this idea and then like became obsessed with charting it. And so I did. Like in like a week, I had to chart it. I spent a lot of time charting this for a week. So that's also available. And speaking of which, I had a giveaway 2 weeks ago, my last Flosstube, for this chart, for a PDF version of this chart. And the winner is, drumroll, Charla Brackbill. So Charla, this will be something else I owe you. Congratulations. I am very interested in chicken invaders. I find that very funny. And thank you for your kind words about my book. I appreciate it. Well, my article, my chapter in the book. My book is a whole other story, which I'm not ready to talk about yet. Maybe I'll talk about it next time. Yeah, so thank you for your kind words about my chapter. I had a chapter published in a book. I kind of rubbed it on my face like a weirdo, but whatevs. Send me your email address, because I don't keep stuff like that ever. So send me your email address, Charlotte, and I will get this out to you. And I will also eventually get that creepy baby out to you. It's sitting on my table. Like, it looks at me every day. And it's been a difficult couple weeks. It's been a difficult transition this semester to teaching in person. And I've been struggling a bit. So I'm not going to go into that very much, but things that aren't critically important and that I know people will forgive me for are kind of getting left. So Charlotte, what that tells you is that I trust you to be a kind person and give me a break. Yeah, so that's all my stitching for today. I have not done any more books in my temperature library #365 stitch project. It has just been feeling overwhelming to come out here and film it. And I did post the first installment last Friday. I'll post a link to that up here if you want to see the first 15 stitches. But it took way longer to edit that video than I expected. I mean, it took probably 6 or 7 hours to edit that video. It was 2.5 hours of footage that I got down to 15 minutes. And so I need to figure out maybe a better way of doing that, but I don't have the brain energy right now to like come up with something. I do intend to continue to do it because I do think it's cool. And I mean, essentially it's going to be my own stitch sampler, which is incredibly useful for me, but I'm not doing very good at it right now. So I need to figure out a way to catch up and then stay caught up and make the editing easier. It may end up just being a bunch of shorts. Would anyone mind like having just a bunch of shorts, like, and it wouldn't be one a day, but it would be like a couple every other day. That would be, I think, better for me. I don't know. I have to figure out how I can make it happen and not have it feel overwhelming, because at the moment it feels really overwhelming in a way I was not anticipating. Although I should have, honestly, I should have anticipated, because what was I thinking? I think I didn't realize how difficult this semester would be for me. I'm not settling in. I'm not like figuring out a schedule. Hopefully it'll get better. It's got to get better, right? I mean, it has to get better. That's my stitching for this week. I do want to talk about my Stitchy Journal. First of all, I got some happy mail. Jessie from Mislaid Pages had bought some tabs, some journal tabs, and they were giving them away for because you could buy like a pack of 10. You couldn't just buy one, and they didn't need more than one for their journal. So they gave some away, and I asked for them, and I won them. And so I now have nice, strong tabs in my Stitchy Journal. And you know that if you've been with me at all when I've been talking about this journal, I've altered this journal a lot to make it my own. And I've been really enjoying using it now. And one of the reasons why I know what to talk about today is because I've been keeping up with this journal. So I have these nice sturdy tabs now for the months. At the end, I put in some thicker tabs. They're not sticking out, but they're like a little thicker spot for my altered pages at the end, although this one's not altered. So this is my end stat, my wrap-up stats. So at the end of the year, I'll write down all my wrap-up stats. But I also have in here my finished projects, has a little thicker spot, and I've stolen some pages. So I have spool making ideas, cyanotype ideas. I have weaving ideas over here. This is cross stitch pattern ideas. And then the last page is embroidery ideas. And then it also, I keep stickers in here. And so all the stickers that I use on here, I keep back here. Well, a lot of them anyway. And then I also, to reinforce this little paper pocket, I put a little calendar on there. So this is the stitch journal that I got from the Black Needle Society resolution stitching box. And I've been really enjoying it. So just let me show you. Oh, and this bookmark is from my friend Francine. So thank you. I use it every day. And Jessie also sent stickers. Look at these adorable stickers. So I've been putting little animals in my Stitchy Journal. And I have been no buy. Look at me, no buy. I need to put them in here, but I've been no buy. The only thing I bought is that thread, is that floss for like not like normal stuff to buy. Like I bought food and whatnot. But I haven't bought any craft supplies except for that floss. And so I've been giving myself little gold stars, little colorful rainbow stars for whenever I have a good day of no buying. And I've been really good. I haven't bought anything except for that floss. So, and I started this is a no buy February, but I started my no buy February like a week and a half before the beginning of February. I feel really good. And the reason for my no buy February is that I was getting in the habit of just shopping when I was bored. It wasn't stuff that I needed. It was stuff that I wanted in that moment. And now it's like on a shelf over here. So my no buy February has already, I feel like, reset my mind from just trolling eBay for yarn, right? Anyway, with that being said, I did do some ordering on eBay and Etsy that came in while in this time. So I do have a little bit of haul to show you, but this will really be the last haul until March. So I guess what I want to do is I want to talk about plans, and then I'll do my haul, and then I'll do my musings. I don't have the nice little the nice music that Kaylee has and about her musings, but I do want to talk about stuff. I don't know, just chat about it. You can fast forward or clear out, whatever. So let's talk about plans. Some of you may recognize these squares. I'm in the middle of making a quilt based off of Lindy Stitch's Hedgehog House. And this is what it looks like with all the pieces laid out. I was hand piecing it, and I have like my layout here. I have my measuring thing here, and I have all my strips. And at the moment, I've pieced together all of the squares into strips, horizontal strips. And I went to go finish it, and I don't have the energy to hand piece those strips. I just don't. If I force myself to hand piece them, it's never going to get done. And I want it to get done because I want to hang it on my wall right there. I want it on my wall. I have a dowel for it and everything. Like, I'm ready to have this on my wall. So one of my plans is to take all these strips and sew them together on my sewing machine. I feel like I'm cheating, but of course that's such a stupid thing to think, right? Like, the reason why I piece them together by hand in the first place is because they're such small pieces that I wanted to make sure that they wouldn't fall apart. And also, the hedgehog is in these different plaids, and that's not quilting fabric. And it's a very loose weave, so it tends to fray really easily. And when you're stitching together individual squares, that is more noticeable than when you're stitching together, or that's more of an issue than when I will hopefully stitch together these rows that are already stitched. So there's already something there that will stop the fraying, I hope. But I just know that if I'm gonna force myself to do it by hand, it's never gonna get done. And I'm just gonna have this bag of like half-finished hedgehog forever. Like, it's never gonna end. So that's one of my goals. I need to clear out my sewing machine because I have some mending to do too. I want to alter some pants. Some of my pants are too big around the waist. So I want to alter them too. So I think this week I'm going to uncover my sewing machine from my weaving supplies and do this because it's literally just straight lines. I just want to get the front. I just want to get whatever the front's called, the front piece, top pieced, and then I can, I don't know, at least have something to show you, right? Anyway, that's one goal. Another goal, I do plan on, I'd like to start and finish Miss Fisher. That would be fun. That would make me happy. So that would be a cool thing to do. So I'll try and do that. I kind of want to, you're gonna laugh. I kind of want to spin for my weavings. So I'm not good at spinning. So this is, I have a drop spindle. I bought these drop spindles for my class. I teach a lot of histories of women at various stages in life. And one of the things that women did in the pre-modern world is they spun wool. And this is a drop spindle. So this is not a medieval spindle at all, but it is a way to show students how much work went into textiles. And basically I want them to, like, when they read a will and it says that, you know, the blanket and bed curtains are in the will, the reason for that is because it was all done by hand. So I'm terrible at it, but I'm better than them. That's all that matters. The point isn't to make anything usable. Anyway, so I spun this. This is like my example spinning. And it's in no way even. I'm not good at it. I haven't done it in years. But this would be great texture for weaving. And I have a ton of roving that I got from my mom that I could spin into, you know, textured things to weave with, because, you know, I love me some textured things to weave with. So that's a plan. Kind of, I don't know, try spinning again. That's a plan. And work on my temperature bookcase. that's another plan. I want to at least make a little headway in that. Other than that, I'm going to stitch and my current WIP. So my temperature drink shelf, my HAED, right? Because if I want to get to 20%, I need to do about 20% by the end of the year. I need to do about 1 3/4% a month, essentially, which is 28,000 stitches. So, you know, 3,500 stitches a month on that, which I've been doing. So it's fine. And I'm enjoying it, which is fine. But eventually I will get to confetti stuff, although that'll be at the end. I mean, I'm probably going to work on maroons, reds, and browns for a very long time. So another thing I wanted to mention before we get into my musings is I showed off my spools, my bobbins last time I was here. I bought 100 little bobbins, right? And I didn't know what they were for. And my friend Judy sent me a video explaining what they're for, which is super exciting. So these actually go into an industrial shuttle for weaving. So you have it looks like a boat, and it has a gap in the middle where you put thread, you put whatever you're weaving with, and then you shoot that back and forth through the, to make the fabric. That's like what holds that's what makes the weaving happen, is the fiber that's on this shuttle. And this holds that fiber. So you wrap, I'll post a picture here. So this is what the fiber is wound on in the shuttle. So that's exciting. So I have 100 of these, and I'm going to use them because I plan on making weavings. I have lots of ideas for weavings. You saw my planner. You saw my weaving plans planner page. That was a very alliterative. So I have a lot of stuff I want to do with that. So thank you, Judy, for making that and letting me know what that's for. That's super exciting. She keeps posting really cool pictures of like historical weaving pictures and historical textile production pictures on her Instagram, and it's cool. It's really cool. One thing I forgot to show you from my Black Needle Society box that I got a couple weeks ago, which was the one with 2 Martini Stitcher. I don't remember what it was called, but anyway, it was based on drinks. But it also came with a little needle minder, always happy hour. So I had forgotten. This had fallen out of the bag and was like over there. So I thought I would show you that as well. And then I just have two things that I bought, and they're both weaving related. I got some macrame cord scraps for weaving. I got these off of Etsy because macrame artists can't really use short pieces of string. Like I, as a weaver, you know, this here is maybe 2 feet, like this section, if I'm doing like a narrow weaving. So I can just take 2 feet of like a scrap of 2 feet and like weave it in. But a macrame artist, of course, can't do that. They have to have much longer pieces. So I looked for macrame scraps and I found them, and I'm very excited. I got 4 packages. They're all different colors and sizes. And so I'm looking forward to using these in various weavings. I also got some tapestry wool in various colors, so you can see the different colors. I'm going for a kind of a neutral palette in my weavings. That seems to be what I'm feeling lately. So I figured I'll get some secondhand off of eBay, and that'll be great. And it was a really good deal. I also, off of Etsy, got more scraps. I got some velvet ribbon scraps. Again, in those kind of earthy colors with a little bit of teal thrown in. And I wanted to hit the $35 free shipping on Etsy. And so I got a little bit of like a length of this rose. It's called Terra Rose. Oh no, it's just called Terra Rose. It's 1 inch wide. So that is the haul, and that's right here. This right here is that velvet, and I just kind of knotted it in just for a little texture. That's the purchases that I received. I did not make them, but I received them, and I'm pleased with that. So if you're not interested in hearing my musings on what it means to be nice, then thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it very much. I will try to be back next Friday or Saturday. I may have something up on Tuesday. What I've discovered is that if I don't film it and edit it on Saturday and Sunday, it won't get posted. My Mondays are 12-hour days and my Tuesdays are on campus, and I'm just kind of beat. Like I'm running on adrenaline when I'm on campus because of, you know, COVID situations and how, anyway. So if it's not done during the weekend, it's not going to happen. And I just have to accept that this semester it won't be the filming schedule that I thought it was going to be. But anyway, I do hope to be back next Friday with some kind of a video. So I will see you then if you want to peace out. Otherwise, let's get comfy. Oh, this shirt, I did not embroider. This shirt I got at a powwow in New Jersey when I was young, like 16, so 25 years ago. And I have kept it because I love the embroidery so much. I didn't embroider at the time, who knew? But I kept it because I love the embroidery so much. And I kept meaning to alter it because it kind of like wasn't in style anymore. And I didn't alter it to make it more stylish. And now it's in style again. It's like a peasant blouse. So that's good. So let's talk about what it means to be nice. I'm talking about this because I'm from New Jersey. I sound like I'm from the Northeast. I live in the deep South in the US, which has a very different accent. So if you watch Crisscross Stitch, which I'm sure all of you do, or if you don't, you should. He's a delight and you should watch him. But, you know, he's from around where I live and he has a Southern accent. So it's very obvious that I'm not from here. So I was walking my dog. It was a gorgeous day the other day and I was walking my dog in the park and I passed this couple and we started talking because people talk in the South. I talk in the North, but people think I'm weird. So talking in the South works for me. And they asked, you know, how I like it here, where I'm from, you know, that kind of a thing. And they asked a question, and they don't come out and ask the question, but they asked a question about, I don't remember how it was worded. It was worded very strangely. It was worded like, how do you find people acting or behavior or something weird like that? But what they were actually asking was, do you find people in Mississippi to be nicer than people in the Northeast? That's essentially what they were asking. And I knew that when she asked it, but then she clarified it and basically asked it. And I said, oh yeah, you know, people in New Jersey are nice. People in New York are nice. They're nice in a different way, right? And my example is that in the South, if you disagree with someone, you don't just like come out and tell them you disagree with them. You like hem and haw and like beat around the bush and like, I don't know. It just takes a lot of time. You don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So you try to like soften the blow. Like, yes, I disagree with it. You're wrong, but you don't say that you're wrong. You say, well, that, you know, that could be possible, blah. And whereas where I'm from, you just say, no, I think you're wrong. I think a lot of people who don't grow up in that environment and that way of speaking, that directness, find that rude. But to me, I think it's more rude to waste my time. Like, I think it's not nice to wait. Like, if I'm wrong about something, I need you to tell me I'm wrong about it so I can fix it. I don't want to have to guess what you're trying to say. Like, I don't like trying to read people's minds. I don't like doing that. So to me, it's much nicer to just tell me what's wrong and what I need to do than to like make me guess what's wrong and what I need to do, right? There's this really strange idea that if you're indirect, that means that you're nice. And if you're direct, it means you're not nice. It's kind of like if you're at a four-way stop and it's your turn to go, but you wave someone else to go. Okay, that's nice of that person, but what about all the people behind you? What about the fact that you just ruined the whole system, right? And now it's confusing. No one knows who goes next because you wanted to be nice, right? I'd rather wait until it's my turn. Like, just go on your turn and I will wait for my turn. Don't wave me to go. And it's this way for a lot of things around here. So I guess I just want us to think about like what it means to be nice, and that nice is culturally determined. And what's nice in some places isn't nice in other places, but that doesn't mean that those people aren't nice. And anyway, I think nice is overrated. I'd much rather be kind because I'm not always nice. I got to be honest with you. I'm not always a nice person, but I am always a kind person, and I am a generous person, and I am a caring person. And to me, that is so much more important than being nice. But that's a whole nother conversation, which we're not going to have because I'm at almost an hour of filming. I'm going to cut out some stuff, but I'm at almost an hour of filming. So I guess I just want you to think about what it means to be nice, right? What does it mean to be nice? What does it mean to be a nice person? There's an interesting YouTube channel called, it's a Southern thing, I think it's what it's called. It's hilarious. It's like looking at the South, like Southerners looking at the quirkiness and weird things about the South. It's very funny. But they recently did a like gossip in the South, and it's just these like people trash talking their friends in a car, like trash talking them. And then the friend gets in the car and they're all nice, nice, nice. Like, that's not nice to me, you know? Like, I have friends, my friends that I'm going to see this evening. We've been friends for 20 years. We gossip about each other, but we don't say anything that we wouldn't say to each other's face. Like, if you're being a jerk, I will tell you to your face. I mean, I'll say, oh, so-and-so is a jerk. But then I'll also tell it to their face. I don't know. Was that too much? This may get cut, but it probably won't. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. I think that's kind of my conversation about being nice. So what do you think about being nice? What do you think makes someone nice? Because I'm definitely not always nice, but I don't think that makes me not a good person. I mean, you may disagree. Although you watch me, so you must think I'm okay in some respects. You've gotten this far. Shoot. Okay, the final thing I want to talk about, and I meant to talk about this earlier, Ilanka from Stitch Ilanka has a section in her Flosstube looking at colloquial phrases. What she wants to know are, like, she'll give out colloquial phrases in German. She's German. In German, and then find equivalents in English if she can. And then what she asks for is for other people in her international community to find that colloquial phrase in their language and what it means. So, for example, like killing two birds with one stone, right? Like, that's a colloquial phrase that has nothing to do with murdering birds, right? So what are those colloquial phrases? So Ilanka, if you're watching, which I think you do, I have a phrase for you. It's one of my favorite phrases, and I like using it as much as possible because I like minding my own business. And the phrase is, not my circus, not my monkeys. And basically what it means is people are acting foolish. They are not my problem. Like, if they want to act foolish, they can stay in their own circus, because that is not my circus. They are not my monkeys. So what does that mean in, what's the phrase in German? What's the phrase in other languages? So if you could address that, please, next in your next Flosstube, I would greatly appreciate it. Anyway, I'm at over an hour filming. I want to edit this and get it up, and I appreciate you hanging out with me, and I appreciate you listening to my musings, which were not in any way like prepared, so they were kind of rambly, and I apologize, but it's just something I've been thinking about, especially since that conversation when I was walking my dog, because she wanted me to say that people in New Jersey aren't nice. But you know what? People in New Jersey are nice. They're just nice in a different way. Anywho, that's it from me. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next week in some capacity or other, possibly Tuesday, possibly Friday, possibly Saturday, possibly Wednesday. Who knows? It's a mystery, and I look forward to it. I hope you have a good week. Please take good care of yourselves and have a good one. Bye.